Hey there, Duncan here. So in this video, I'm going to be showing you how to scrape all of the agencies on Clutch using AI. So I'm going to be using Cursor to do this. So basically, if you're not familiar with Clutch, has all kinds of different agencies. So for my purposes, I want to reach out to all the agencies which are using Go High Level and automations and things in Go High Level. So the first step is to just get all of the agencies on here. And what I normally do with these kind of things is like you can go on Appify and see if there's one. So this one, you could just use this one. So stop watching now and just go do this if you want to do that. I have no affiliation with this and I don't know how well it works, but yeah, it's $40 a month plus usage. So if you don't want to build it yourself, do that. But I'm being kind of lean here and building it because I'll know I'll probably use it again. So first thing with any kind of scraping, like you just want to see if there's the kind of easy way to do it. And the easy way is basically, do they have some nice JSON that is kind of private API that you can just, that's the easiest thing to do because it's machine readable very easily. So to do that, typically what I want to do is just find like the easiest page where we're going to be able to kind of iterate through. So basically, I had a look around these different categories, and basically there's a United States page. So this basically has all of the agencies that do digital marketing in the US. So you can also just go a step back and do all agencies as well. And basically, if you go to the bottom, there's pages here. So 697 pages. And to find out if there's like a nice JSON kind of thing going on here, what you can do is go to Open Web Developer Tools and then go to the Network tab. And I'm using Firefox, but it's the same in Chrome. And then just trigger an action on the page which reloads stuff. So you could try these filters, but I'm just going to go to the next page because I want all of them. And you can see here it says there's this request to this path, and the type of the response was HTML. So okay, that's better than nothing. But if that was JSON, that would probably be better because it's going to be already in a much easier to use format. And if you just wanted that page and it was JSON, you could just pretty much just download the request and it's already there. In this case, what I'm going to do is just go open in new tab and see what that looks like. Okay, so we've got this kind of more lean version of the page. And if you go to the path here, you can see the page number is here. So that is great because that means, let's just test it. If I just change that number, is that going to work? So it looked like it didn't actually change anything. Okay. Because this is at the top. I don't know if this is featured. If that maybe just stays the same. So we've got like net reputation. Just trying to work out if it's actually changing the page. So I'm just going to see if that one changes. If I go to page 4, if it still has Flowium. Okay, so it looks like this is working. It just always has the same one at the top, which is fine. Obviously, we can just ignore that. That's great. So what I'm going to do is just grab this. I'm going to open Cursor, and I've just made a new folder here. So I like to use UV for Python. So I'm just going to go ahead and go UV init. So that just creates a new UV project. I'm just going to create a new cursor rule as well to say Python, and just tell it to always use UV for project management. So to add new packages, run UV add package name. And to run the Python scripts, use the command UV run. Just use that and not. What's that other terrible package manager thing? Not terrible, but slow and annoying. I forgot. Not hit or anything else. Cool. So, and this needs to be always. So what I'm going to do is just make a new here and say that I want to scrape all of the agencies on Clutch and save to a CSV. There's 696 pages. You just need to iterate through the pagination in this URL. I suggest you first pull request that page to see the format. Also, by the way, when I check these, so the links, because we want the actual URL of the agency, and if you look at the link is actually a redirect link, so it's like r.clutch.co/redirect, and I'll just copy this so it has an example. So I don't know if the URL is actually encoded. It looks like it could be like base64 encoded or something in this because it's pretty long. Give it that context. We don't need it to be a real link. We just need to give it the format. Also, we want to capture the actual end destination URL of each agency on the Clutch. On the Clutch listings, it's a redirect. I'm not sure if the URL is included in a way we can directly decode, or if we need to request it and aircon turn off, request it and see where it redirects to. Example below. And do this and say, please ask any questions to clarify, and then start building. I didn't actually tell it to use Python, but I'm assuming because I put main.py to figure. So now we just need to, it stays connected to Claude because I've had so many issues with that recently where it just says that the connection's dropping out. It looks like we're good here. Cool. So now we're going to see, like, are we able to kind of, or is it going to, are we going to get blocked? So we're just doing this from my own home internet connection. So it's kind of like a slightly lower chance that this is going to just get blocked. So obviously, if you're doing this from like a server, then it's just based on the IP address, it's going to be more likely to get blocked. But just kind of based on the way that they've done this, where it's just this plain HTML, it feels like there's a vibe that it's not going to be super intense with blocking. Obviously, Clutch's business model is kind of to get lots of SEO traffic and then basically resell that traffic. So yeah, we'll see. So okay, so it seems to be understanding what we're doing. It's understood. Okay, great. We're using UV, so it's definitely using the correct cursor rules. That's great. It looks like it's installing pandas, which is okay. I prefer polars, just because it's written in Rust, so it's a bit better. So now it seems to have kind of understood. It's saying it's understood the page structure, and now it's going ahead with trying to actually write the scraper. And it looks like it's going to try and just use plain requests with Beautiful Soup. So we're not actually trying to like render a page with a web browser, which is great because that just adds like a lot of complexity, uses more memory and things. I actually just created a screenshot API using Chrome, and that runs on a AWS Lambda. And that was quite complicated to get that to work. So I'm really glad that it's just using plain requests. It's just getting the HTML content, and yeah, so cool. So it's gonna try running this now, and then it's gonna see the results. So I'm just gonna pause for a second, and well, that runs, and then we'll see how well that works. Cool. So I can see it ran here, and it says test completed, but its cursor is still waiting for it to be done. This happens quite a lot I think they'll fix this in future updates, I'm sure. But basically, sometimes it just doesn't realize it's done. And in this case, it looks like because it says test completed, do you want to scrape all 696 pages? So let's see. Okay, no, because it says there's errors on each one. So I'm just gonna no, and we'll see if it's able to just figure this out on its own, or if we need to provide a little bit more guidance here. So it's kind of thinking about the redirect URLs here. 403 forbidden. That's bad news. So it's saying, suggests that Clutch is detecting our automated regress. Let's update the scraper with better stealth techniques. Okay, so this is where, things might get a little bit more tricky. Obviously, so like there's tons of different ways that, when you're scraping, that websites can kind of try and detect and stop you doing that. So like, I mean, one of them is just very basically like if you don't have a user agent set, but we already have that here. So that's basically just saying like, okay, this is a web browser and it's a normal web browser that we're using. So it's kind of just like going on trust that, okay, this is someone using a web browser. It's not like a robot. And so, okay, so so it's already kind of suggested, here we go. So it's going to suggest a random, more realistic browser header. So we'll see. We'll see. This might help. There's also the possibility that it might be something else here. Like if it's just to do with the redirect URLs, I'm not sure. We might want to kind of have a little bit more of a look into that rather than just letting Claude try and figure out on its own. So it looks like says it found 0 agencies. So I'm just going to say can we clarify if it's scraping, if it's able to get the page with the agency list on it, okay? Or, but it's just the redirects that are the issue, or if it's getting a 403 when trying to just get the page, get the list page as well. So also what I'm going to do is just see if there's another aspect of the request that kind of automatically got copied when we did it in the browser. So I'm just going to do a new private window and put this in as well. Okay, so it works. So that's interesting. So just entering the URL in the browser without any cookies or anything, that works fine. And obviously we're using the same IP address. We're doing it from Python, so it's not cookies. It's not the IP address. So it must be something to do with the browser. So I'm just going to independently of Claude just do links and then this URL here and see what happens. Okay, so I get 403 forbidden there. And it's asking me if I want to save a cookie. Enable JavaScript. Interesting. Okay, come back to that in a second. Yeah, so looks like we're gonna have to. But it says enable JavaScript and cookies to continue. So I'm guessing it doesn't really need JavaScript, but it's just checking to see if there's a browser with JavaScript, because that's kind of an indicator of like if we're, trying to scrape it if we don't have JavaScript, because obviously it's like annoying as we're finding out to have JavaScript enabled. It seems like Clutch does a basic check to see if the browser has JS and cookies. What's the minimum way for us to pass that check? The actual HTML renders fine without JS. I'm going to assume that because it just looks like it does. Just looks like plain HTML, but there's like a check here. So yeah, maybe I'm just gonna leave this up to Claude and see what it suggests here. because maybe it's got some trick that I don't know about. But otherwise, like, we might have to use a whole and WebDriver, and that's fine. But it's a bit annoying because it just adds a little, like, quite a lot of complexity and like memory use and everything. It's just makes it harder to deploy because you have to have a Chrome binary. But for the purposes of this, it'll be fine if we have to do that because I'm just going to run it on my laptop. And yeah, so it's going to try and generate something here. So we'll just see what it comes up with. And what is it doing? Okay, so it's going to I think it's just going to try saving a cookie. I think this is probably not going to, so it's going to check it anyway, but I think the outcome of this is probably just going to be that, yeah, we're going to need, oh no, it's saying status 200 now, known providers. Okay. See, what is the sample div? Sample div process in run. Okay. So yeah, let's see. It thinks that we're kind of getting the actual page. So it's gonna now try and save the HTML and see what, just for the first page, and see what happens. So we'll see. Looks like we got saying it saved the HTML, but I don't see. Oh, here we go. It's binary. Huh. That's weird. Open anyway. Interesting. Okay. So these are, I think, you can see kind of the problem solving process here in Cursor. I'm not going to like make you sit through the entire kind of thing here because we're already getting close to 20 minutes. But hopefully this gives you an idea of kind of like how you can just use it to problem solve, bounce ideas back and forth. But basically, I'm just going to pause here and then figure out the best way forward, and then just show you what it looks like once we're actually scraping the data. Okay. So essentially was what I thought we needed to enable JavaScript. So to do that, we ended up using Playwright, and basically it's work. So we've got, this is just a test of the first kind of few pages. But as you can see, we've got the name of the business, the agency, and we've got the URL there in the CSV. So now what I'm going to do is just run it for all 696 pages. Cursor reckons it's going to, or Claude reckons it's going to take about 2 hours and give me about 66,000 agencies. So yeah, let's go ahead and run it. Okay, so what ended up happening is that basically Cloudflare turnstiles kept popping up, and I tried a bunch of different things to get around that, and I ended up just switching to using Browserless. So Browserless is a service that basically they have a Chrome browser in the cloud and they manage it for you, and they have a lot of more tricks as to how to actually get around some of these captures and Cloudflare turnstiles and that kind of thing. It was basically a couple of quick changes, just asking Claude to use Browserless instead of the local Chrome browser using Playwright. So now, as you can see, it's gone through, and this is actually the CSV that it's creating. So it's kind of adding to this as it goes, just in case it crashes or anything. And yeah, so it's got to page 10 and has found 855 agencies with their website and everything, and some other details so far. And there are like another 600 or so pages to go. So, but so far it's looking pretty good. Now, because I'm using Browserless, I could actually just do this concurrently, and it could just go and do basically all 600 plus pages, and obviously that would be about 600 times faster. But it does add a little bit of complexity, and also you can't do that on the free version of Browserless. So for this, trying to keep it very lean, and obviously the whole point of this was to build something where not paying like a big monthly subscription just to get these leads. So I'm just going to let this run, and yeah, it's going to probably take a couple of hours. But if you wanted to, use this approach, you could do it basically async, and then it would get them all in one go. So just going to let this run, but you can see it's getting all these details, and then the next step, which I won't cover in this video, but basically what I want to do is extract the page content of each of the agencies to see if they're using high level or go high level on their website themselves. And if they are, that's kind of, it's safe to assume they're probably using it for their clients too. So that's kind of what I plan to do next. But yeah, thanks for watching this. And if you have any questions or anything, let me know.